How is it going, guys? Welcome to another options trading market outlook that I'm doing every day. I'm trying to do every day. I'm not doing every day, but I'm really trying to stick to a schedule. But as you guys know, we are also trying to create a educational program for you guys to be able to maneuver the stock market a little bit better with our help. So I've been working on that quite a lot. I've phased out just turned down my trading activity a little bit in the last few days, so I could work more on the content that I'm recording now. So in the next few days/weeks, you guys can finally expect to see the first videos pop up on YouTube, and that's definitely going to be really cool. I'm also going to do a recap of the futures scalping kind of stuff that I've been doing. This is a new strategy that I've developed. I am not going to show you guys the strategy itself, but I'm going to show you in a little status report, because it's been a great month, a fantastic month. All I'm saying is 98% win rate, and there's going to be a little review, just looking at the stats, looking at the potential, and that's that for that. Yeah, so let's look at the market real quick. We are at a really interesting spot right now. When we look at the ES, we have now closed this monthly candle. We were not able to close over the middle celt, which is really interesting on the monthly. And when you look at the weekly, if we close this weekly under the 14, then this is a perfect first 14 MA test after a crossover. So perhaps this was it, guys. I mean, the target has always been the 2950. Like, the main target has always been the 2950 level. We were thinking perhaps with the velocity, and if this would close over the 14, we could go into the 3000, perhaps 3100. But now, if we close this tomorrow underneath the 14, this might be it, to be honest. I have just added another tranche short this time for end of September, short the market, and we will see how this plays out. But it's definitely very interesting. I think especially also yesterday's day, Wednesday. Wait, this was Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wait, no, that was today's Thursday. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up because New Zealand is a day ahead. Just this day here, where we broke over the upper celt and broke over the bound of the expected range here in the ES. That just felt like such a blow off top, and I mentioned that in the outlook. There's just the velocity of the move was just too harsh, and it looked like one of those kind of fake breakouts where all the stops are getting hit. You see this intraday all the time. Stops are getting hit, and then it recovers, and then it actually fails in the other way. So we will see how this develops in the next few days. I hope you guys have already started sizing in, into your shorts in this top, then here, and I hope you have enough time, August, September, perhaps July, for your shorts to see those lows again. And recording this, and I'm pointing out those points on purpose, so that in September, when we're back at lows, or August when we're back at lows, we can point back to this video and say, look, you guys freaking told you so. But yeah, that's that. And we see a similar thing here in the Russell as well, just this blow off top kind of looking move. It was beautiful, and I traded this, and I got out way too early. I got out here, and could have held much longer and made more profits. But hey, that's just how my strategy works, and I mean, I have profits, and that's all that matters. But now, like we fell back under this uppercut here, and depending on how this moves in the next few days, like it's the same kind of setup here where we are testing that 14 for the first time after the crossover on the weekly. So things aren't looking too exciting anymore. I feel like we are definitely topping on this bear market rally, as people call it. I don't know what to call it. It's just that to me it's clear that this is not over yet. Anyway, gold, as I told you guys, I had loaded up, just scooped a little bit more yesterday. This is not working in my favor at the moment. We will see how this is going to go. The risk is defined. I've made most of my profits, and I was just, as I told you guys, it's a small trade. So I'm not too fussed about this. It might, and as I said, this might need a little bit of chop. But yeah, this is not looking too good at the moment for the long. Bonds, they are still holding in there, which I'm happy about. We will see with this one as well. There was a lot of volume today, which I find interesting. So volume can usually, can be a precursor to like a move. As you see here, suddenly like a bit of a volume spike, that precursors like a move. It doesn't have to be up, but like in a few of those places it was a reversal kind of point. So we'll see with that as well. Lastly, we look at the SPX just because the expected move is a little bit more accurate and more representative in the SPX, and here we see as well, as I told you guys yesterday, we will see what this is going to do, and I was kind of expecting like a fall back under this expected move range, and now we will see whether it wants to get back over, and then you would definitely see the like the 3,000. But if this holds underneath this or within this expected move, we will have the second inside week in a row, and that could be very interesting, like with the volatility contraction, that we would see an expansion of volatility very soon again. And just looking at how everything looks, that move might be to the downside. All right, individual stocks. I thought I'm not gonna. I always say I don't have too many. I'm always trying not to put too many on, and then I end up with just with a decent list of stuff. So well, let's go through it. Walmart. So this is a perfect case of a close. I'm just bringing this up, like this is not really a trade setup right now, but it's a perfect case of a close under the 14, and then within days, like it reaches that target of the 30 MA that I keep telling you guys about, where it closes, it tests a few times, it closes under, and then once it closes under, we target the 30, especially if there's a decent distance between the two. Like somewhere in here that wouldn't be worth to target it, because it's just not enough room. But once they're spread out like this is like that kind of example that I'm kind of trying to point out for you guys, and this is what I'm talking about, right? Closes under, target to 30. Next one, Verizon. This is like we're at the same thing here, but it might play out with this one, as we've just seen it in Walmart. So we've closed under the 14 after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of testing and closing over. See, it tested, closed over, tested, closed over, tested again, and always closed over. And today, for the first time, we close under. So if tomorrow we open under that middle Celt, I think that would be a nice short setup to target the 30. Next one, UNH. So this is close enough to call it a 14 MA test, 14 MA long, after the crossover here. And what I also like here is that this has closed over the upper celt, and we have like this nice kind of flag pattern. So that would be a long case. If the market, as I keep telling you guys, everything's related to the market, but this could be a long case if we open up somewhere, over the upper celt, and then we see a strong push and break the resistance, break the trend line. That could be the next leg up. There's also quite a bit of volume here today, so that's definitely interesting as well. Next one, Twitter. So that one, the channel is intact. Tested the upper range of the channel. The earnings channel doesn't look too good, and now we should I'm not saying should, but we could target the lower bound of that channel here. And if the market sees the top here, then perhaps we'll even see a channel break and back to the lows. But definitely the earnings have not been received too well. So if we open up anywhere, if you open up below the 14, that's actually perfect. You look for a morning spike into the 14, and then you short it down into the lower end of the channel. After this kind of earnings, I don't know the numbers. I just see what the market does with it, and the market doesn't seem to be too happy here. Next one, Shopify. The 14 is coming up rapidly on this one. It's a long case. Same as I've told you guys before, the 14 crossed over. We have moved over resistance areas. So if tomorrow we get closer to that 14, the upper celt, to the previous highs, the 600 level, that's four things that could act as support here. That might be a good long, but just keep in mind, if the market closes under the 14, I'm going to repeat it a million times, the weekly ES closes under the 14 MA, then I would be careful with more long plays. Next one, Roku. This nice little flag pattern here that we see. We are at the top end of the regression channel here, so another one to be careful of. But if you want to trend trade, it's holding the 14 so far, but it's also failing the upper celt. It's still not out of this flag. So if this opens up over the upper celt, perhaps over the 200, that would be an interesting spot to look for a long. If this opens under the 14, then I would not think of it just yet again. But over here, that could be interesting for the trend line break and previous highs, like swing high here. That could be the target, and then perhaps even a breakout of the channel if the market wants to do another push as well. Next one, HSY. This is just another good example of like that for the 14 MA close under, but it's not as clean as what I showed you guys before. So it closed under, tries to go back above, but fails, then opens up below. But it opens up quite a bit below, but what it does, it bounces. So this is an opportunity intraday, like you see it bounce into the 14 after opening up below. So instead of chasing, you wait for the bounce back up, and that's where you could take the short, and then we target the 30, just a few days. Hope I explained this right. So like you see, like here, there's no clear trade just yet, or after closing below here, what you would be looking for is like a close, an open under the 14, and then a pop into the 14, but it didn't do that here. It opened back over, and it tried to push, failed. So there's no trade just here, but then it opens under. So here, it opens under a little bit too far, and it's still, it's already at the middle celt. So what you look for to get a proper entry, while this is like a bearish setup, but it's not a trigger yet, because you need like a proper entry. So you wait for a proper entry into retrace into the 14, and then you can take the short and ride it out into the 30. So that's kind of what we are trying to show you guys, is that it's not just a setup. This is not a blind short and it opens up here. You wait for proper entry at a proper, like at a good price to get the like the right risk reward. That's that for HSY. FLR is the next one, and this is one of my mean reversion trades that I sometimes take. This is, as with like the Wayfair that I showed you guys the other day, or Shopify that I showed you guys the other day, this is a quick in and out. So this is overextended, and is is just too far away from this upper Celt. So this could be tomorrow. If we open up here, we get a push in the morning, or we just open up and it shows weakness right away. You could take a short, an intraday short, and close intraday, or perhaps look for a second day drop back into the upper Celt, or perhaps like a gap fill or something like that. Just a quick 1-2 day mean reversion kind of trade. These are quick in and out trades, so don't overstay your welcome. Next one, EW. This is another one where we see kind of like this case of the close under the 14, as I just showed you guys. I'm going over a few of those. Close under. From here, this is probably where a short could have already been taken. Like it's open under, and if I had seen this before, I would have probably taken the short yesterday into that upper or like the 14 MA, which like then like you might, this is where you probably take a little bit of heat, like it closes over, and if you define risk, then there's no problem. You just let it do whatever it wants to do, but then you would have to define an exit strategy for the case that this pops back up. But today it looks like it's still doing the bear case. It closed back under the 14, so I would still target the 30, and especially if this opens over the under the 14 tomorrow, definitely worth a short down to the 30. Next one, DG. It's retested the 14, same kind of setup, like it held under, retested the 14, came back down a little bit. So tomorrow, preferably this definitely needs to open under the 14. If it opens under the middle Celt, that's even better. Look for just any kind of pop in the morning, short it down to the 30. AMD, this is just to point out how well that short worked, especially if we open under the middle Celt tomorrow. We still have that 30 MA target here. Here's also an example where the 14 MA test did not work, but it's basically because we have already opened under the 14 on the test. So if we would pull into the 14, that would be a much better high probability setup, and perhaps you could even count this as the actual first 14 MA test after a crossover. So this might already be the second. We closed under the middle Celt here. That's perfect. So let's hope for an open under the middle Celt tomorrow. Then you can short it down into the 30. Next one, Adobe. This popped up on my upper Celt kind of scan. So this one closed over the upper Celt. That's a bullish kind of signal. It's been riding the 14 quite well here. So if we open up somewhere in that 354 kind of area, 355 or 360, whatever, that's not something to chase. Wait for a pullback into the upper Celt. There, where if you still want to ride the bullish trend, if you think we're not done yet, depends on the market. As I always say, everything's correlated to the market at the moment. But this would be the long entry would be if we get a pullback into the upper Celt, and if this manages to break this 364 level here, then we could see the gap fill. So it's not too bad of a trade. And last one, Acadia. I don't know how to say it. This one is an interesting one because on one hand, we closed under the 14, which would be a bearish case, but we are also like we have the first 14 test. So this is, you know, like just something that I want you guys also to see is it's not always super clear. I personally would probably be a bit more bearish because we have also broken this long trend. Now we've broken it, so perhaps if it wants to open over the 14, then perhaps you could take a short into the upper Celt, or if it wants to open up over the upper Celt, then perhaps you can take a short into 52. But I think usually what I see often intraday is after trends are broken like this, breaks down, so because algos or whatever are taking the stops, people are taking stops, or people are piling in short, and then it usually takes another bounce and then it goes. I see that quite often, that, you know, like it offers like a second entry opportunity for, you know, like just there's a bit of equilibrium here, people piling in short, some people, you know, like profit taking and all kinds of stuff, just a little bit of equilibrium going on here before it finally decides to you know, like move down lower. So that's one to watch. Watch for when it opens, where it opens tomorrow, opens up over the 14. Look what it does when it pops back up into it. If it just freaking fails right down, then probably wouldn't chase it. I would wait for like a nice entry, as I said before. But I think this is definitely one to watch right now. Also into earnings, you know, perhaps we see some profit taking. So another point for the short case. All right, guys, that is it for me. As I told you guys, we are recording lots of stuff. Perhaps something that I would like you guys comments on, and that you could put in the comments, would be what you would want to see in terms of education next. Because right now we are, as I told you guys, I'm recording the options basics module. Next we are touring between either teaching you guys the Aries strategy that we, you know, explain every day in chat. We explain it every day here, you know, recaps, or what could be another opportunity for you guys is like have an advanced options module where we go much more in depth with options theory and options mechanics and everything that we just kind of brush over or give you an introduction in options basics will be covered way more in depth in options, advanced options, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, we don't have a title for it yet, but so you guys let me know what you would prefer to hear next. All right, guys, that's it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Help us hack the algorithm. Please like the video. If you have questions, hit me up in chat or post a question in the comments. It's an interesting day tomorrow, so I hope you guys are going to be up and early and looking at the stuff and what happens. I will be around midday as always, New Zealand time, 5 a.m. in the morning, and I will be watching the close. It's going to be a really important close tomorrow, so let's be ready. Until then, have a good one, guys.